So what are we left with here? A body found in a location difficult to reconcile with the fall scenario. Injuries that are difficult to fully explain, a hammock setup that was unusual and risky, inconsistent eyewitness accounts, delayed search, and incomplete scene documentation. Each individual detail may seem explainable on its own, but together they form a pattern of unanswered questions. And unanswered questions are the foundation of every cold case and every unresolved tragedy. Now, think about this. And if you're in the chat right now, drop it. Otherwise, leave a comment if you're watching this on replay. If someone you knew was found in circumstances that didn't fully make sense, how far would you push to get answers? That's exactly where Lauren's family found themselves. Lauren Agee's death was ruled an accident. For her family, that conclusion felt incomplete, and I completely understand that. I also do not feel like that is a complete investigation. Her mother, Sherry, began asking questions immediately. Why wasn't the campsite properly documented? Why were there inconsistencies in witness statements? Why was her daughter's body found in a cove that didn't match the official narrative? Sherry refused to accept accident as a final answer. She pressed for the autopsy records, the police reports, and evidence files. She spoke to local authorities repeatedly. She requested independent reviews of the injuries, and she engaged with journalists to shine a light on the unanswered questions in this case. Sherry's fight was personal because she described her daughter as responsible, cautious, a young woman who would not put herself in extreme danger. Lauren wasn't a stranger to outdoor activities, but she was not a thrill seeker either. Her family believed that something about the official explanation just didn't make any sense. And in small towns, challenging official narratives is often difficult. Information is controlled, memories fade, and without concrete evidence, officials are reluctant to reopen cases. Sherry's determination, however, kept those questions alive. Now, over the years, media outlets began covering Lauren's story. We have ABC News. They ran a feature highlighting the unusual circumstances of her death. The local news covered the family's ongoing request for clarity. Blogs and online forums analyzed the case in detail, pointing out the inconsistencies in the official narrative. And this coverage had two effects. We have the public awareness, the people outside the local area who began asking the questions, and pressure on authorities. So this case could no longer be treated as routine without scrutiny. Yet despite media attention, no new investigation was initiated. The public reaction has always been intense, but not always accurate. Online social media users speculated about accidents caused by alcohol, misadventures with camping gear, and foul play as well. Now, it's important to note none of these speculations have been confirmed, but public attention did accomplish something important. It did keep Lauren's story alive. Because when families ask questions and communities pay attention, the pressure to examine inconsistencies grow. So even with public attention, the family faced procedural limits. The statutes of limitations do not apply to homicide, but accidental deaths are closed cases once ruled accidental. Evidence lost or degraded over time cannot be recreated, and witness memories fade and statements can shift over time as well. The family had to contend not only with grief, but the bureaucracy of legal constraints too. Yet they persisted. A decade later, the story of Lauren Agee remains unsettled. Friends and family remember the last hours in painful detail. Investigators still rely on the original accident ruling, and experts continue to note inconsistencies and questions and the physical evidence as well. We are just coming up to nearing the end of the resolution of the case, rather. The combination of human error, environmental factors, and procedural limitations means that certainty is impossible. And sometimes in cases like this, the absence of clarity is the most haunting truth of all. Lauren's story is tragic, but it is also instructive. It reminds us how quickly assumptions can close a case and how families must fight to preserve the truth. 10 years later, the questions remain, not because people want mystery, but because reality at times refuses to be neat.